All right, you guys, if you are really struggling with limited ankle mobility, not allowing you to get the most out of your quads when doing any sort of squat movement, especially if you're trying to focus on quad growth. So what that usually looks like is, because we have limited range of motion here in the ankles, when we can no longer drive these knees forward, we dump our chest and our body forward. So now I don't require as much angle here in the ankle, and instead I'm just shooting my ass back, which is going to turn the movement into a lot more hamstring and glute. All right. So here's a couple quick things that I like to incorporate to really loosen up and strengthen not only the calves, but the Achilles, to allow you to get into a deeper position and a deeper ankle angle, which will in turn give you more quad stimulus. First one is going to be foam rolling. So I like to foam roll the calves one at a time. Also the Achilles. Spend about 1 minute each calf and Achilles, just 1 minute each leg total. Loosen everything up, get some blood flow into that area. That blood flow will warm the muscle up and help loosen it up and provide you a little bit more range of motion and flexibility. And as you can see, what I'm doing here is, if you're very sensitive, you can keep one foot on the ground to act as a pivot point, and take a little bit of weight off. Or if you have a pretty good tolerance like myself, you can actually put that foot on top of the other leg to provide you a little more pressure to really dig deep into that Achilles and calf. Now, what we're going to do next is also foam roll and release the arch of our foot. We have a lot of musculature in the foot as well that can get very tight over time. Now, the best way I have found to really release my foot is going to be a lacrosse ball. And it's just simply putting it on the ground and really just applying pressure. The more pressure you apply, the more you can really dig deep into there. But you get to choose how much pressure you put on there depending on how much tolerance you have to that pain. So really dig deep. I like to go back and forth and follow the arch of the foot like this, but then also go across the fibers as well by kind of twisting the entire foot across the ball. And I want you to go all the way up into your toes. And there's going to be some there's going to be some very sensitive spots. And that usually means that there's a knot in there. So really take a little bit more time to spend on there. I do about 1 minute each foot once again. And it's okay, guys, if you find that one side might be tighter than the other. That's natural. You know, as humans, we're not perfectly symmetrical. We have some asymmetries, and that's totally fine. It's nothing to worry about. Do not hyperfixate on that aspect of things, because I used to be the type of person that thought I had a crazy amount of imbalances because my body wasn't perfectly symmetrical. No one is perfectly symmetrical, so don't let anybody believe that they are. All right? So we'll release this. This foot is a lot tighter, and I can definitely tell that when I'm doing my squat movements that this ankle is much tighter. All right, cool. So we'll say that was 1 minute each side. Now the next best thing that we can do is going to be to stretch the ankle. All right. So there's 2 different variations of this. You can go into a deep lunge and really just lean forward. Now, when you're doing this, I want you to focus on keeping this big toe grabbing the ground. All your toes, think about grabbing the ground and almost twisting outwards. All right. This will activate the arch of the foot. And not only does having limited ankle mobility mean tightness, but usually it means weakness in the stretched position. So that is why we want to focus on flexing the foot, grabbing the ground while we stretch, because this will allow us to activate the musculature, activate the tendons while we are stretching it, which will then in turn give us a little more strength in that stretched position. All right. So focus on grabbing the ground and really leaning into it, breathe into it. I would say go 30 seconds to 1 minute each side once again here. And then we'll do the other side. Same thing, grab the ground and lean into it. So this side is much tighter for me. I can just immediately feel the difference. So really take some time to lean into it. 30 seconds to 1 minute. You can go back and forth if you need a little break. And then the other variation I like to do is simply sit on one foot like this and then lean into it again. This allows me to get a little bit of a deeper stretch. Apply more pressure this way and focus on not letting the knee cave in. That means that this whole arch is collapsing. Once again, grab the ground. This will ignite this arch of the foot and allow us to really stretch that how we want it to. Okay. The feet are our freaking foundation. All right. So if the foot is weak or collapsing under weight and pressure, it's going to travel up the chain. All right. This is how you develop knee pain or hip pain or even lower back pain. It could be because your feet are weak, your ankles are tight, Your calves are tight and weak. So focus on implementing this, especially if you see that this is a common issue for you. So really lean into this again. All right, now the last variation, which I definitely recommend doing, is going to be just getting into a deep squat. If you do not have the ankle mobility to get into that deep squat by yourself, what you can do is use a squat rack, use a pole. I'm using a freaking frame carry because it's here. Something that can hold and counterbalance your weight. So we're going to grab this as a counterbalance. We're going to get into our deep squat. And now we have this. So if I'm too tight, I can use this to lean back, right? If I let go, I'll fall. But I can also pull myself into it as I start to regain that flexibility and mobility. And also like to go side to side, spend a couple seconds, maybe 5 here. And once again, look, even myself, I need to focus on driving that knee out, grabbing the ground with the toe. Do not let that knee cave in because the arch of the foot is collapsing too much. Here, spend a couple seconds. Once again, one side is going to feel worse. My left ankle is so tight. Grab that ground, really flex into it. Go to the other side. Once again, the other side. And I would recommend doing this before every single one of your squat sessions. All right, guys. Now, the last thing that I'm going to tell you about is going to be to implement into your workouts. You could even do this before your squat session or before your leg day, which is going to be strengthening in the lengthened position. Now, the easiest way to do this is calf raises. But so many people perform calf raises wrong by just doing the top range of motion, spamming this part. But that is the least important part. When it comes to muscle growth, everything is about the stretch. And also having that stretch in a contracted state is just going to give you some more flexibility as well. So if you're going to be doing calf raises, whether it's before your session or just during a calf workout, I want you to focus on full stretch. Once again, focus on grabbing with the toes, big stretch. Hold the stretch for 3 to 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and then contracting hard. Up. Same thing. Hold that stretch. 1, 2, 3, contract hard. Okay? Not only will this help you develop bigger, stronger calves, but will also help improve that ankle mobility. And you may find if you're doing this before your session, that improved mobility and that already getting that blood flow going into this area will help loosen you up during your hack squats, during your high bar squats, during anything that you want to get more quad growth out of. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to continue to see more fitness nutrition tips to help you advance to the next level, break through plateaus in and out of the gym.